The investigation into what happened this weekend in Nova Scotia is just beginning, and it is a daunting task. There were 22 people killed, and the RCMP have 16 crime scenes to process in 5 different communities. For a closer look at this kind of investigation, I'm joined now by former homicide detective Mark Mendelson. Mark, so great to talk to you today. I think a lot of people are having a tough time wrapping their heads around this task that is in front of the RCMP. They're also dealing with different kinds of crime scenes. They've got investigations into shootings. They've got house fires. What kind of challenge does this present?
Well, there are actually 4 different types of crime scenes, and each one presents its own challenges, although challenge may be a strong word. So let's start at the beginning. You've got these burnt out vehicles. So what they want to know is they have to search those vehicles. They want to know how those vehicles were set on fire, what was the incendiary device that was used to do that, and things of that nature. Now you move on to the houses, and that's a bit more complicated because you have a health and safety issue as well. You don't want to put fire marshals into the home or investigators with a fear of maybe the floor collapsing, but they've got to go in there because there's a body recovery situation that needs to be dealt with. Then there's also the whole problem of deciding how this fire was started. What was the device used to start it? Was the fire started inside the house or outside the home? Were the people who were found dead in the home killed before the fire was started, or did they die in the fire? And you've also got to deal with the actual shootings themselves, the whole firearm investigation. How many guns did he have? Is it only one gun? Did they all die from the same gun? Things of that nature. And then lastly, his home and his business and his internet and his smartphone and his computers all have to be forensically examined to see who he was speaking with, any blogs that he was on, any indication how he got his hands on an authentic RCMP uniform, things of that nature. Did he leave a manifesto? Did he leave an explanation? Anything like that. So 4 distinct types of investigations, which is going to take some time.
Mark, what about the roads that link crime scene to crime scene? I mean, we're looking at about 150 kilometers of rural road and highway where this took place. How much attention do investigators have to pay to the actual roads that link these places in case something might have gotten thrown from a car or in case a piece of evidence might have been just fallen out of a car? Do they have to pay attention to the roads themselves?
Well, it's an excellent question, Ben, and the answer is yes, they have to. So what a separate investigative team will be doing is trying to determine the exact route that he followed from the beginning of this crime spree till the time he was shot by the police. And you're right. They're looking for any weapons that might have been discarded off to the sides of the road. But also, they're going to be looking at the homes along the way because we are in the middle of a pandemic and we are in the middle of people isolating. There may be other people who he came in contact with who may be dead. And we don't know about it yet because we're not concerned that they didn't show up for work because nobody's showing up for work. So doors are going to have to be knocked on. And the difference in between, sort of Ontario and rural Nova Scotia is cameras. Yeah. We don't have highway cameras out in Nova Scotia. It's very difficult to sort of track his path, but that's going to have to be done as well.
We only have about 30 seconds left, Mark, but how do investigators do their jobs effectively and in a timely manner in an era of physical distancing?
It's difficult. They're going to have to adapt and they're going to have to be creative. But the seizing of the evidence can be done by one person. It can be a very lonely job, but it can be done. Social distancing can be maintained. And then once all these items are collected and properly secured and documented, they will go off to a Center for Forensic Sciences for analysis. And that's when the waiting game begins.
Well, Mark, I think a lot of people knew this was going to be a big task before we spoke to you. And now that you've given us details, I think we appreciate that it's all the more important and it's even bigger than we thought. Thank you so much. We appreciate your time today.
You're welcome. Be healthy, Ben.